this video is probably going to offend you. And I don't know if I should apologize or if I should just stand, what do the kids say, 10 toes down. This is in regards to the woman on TikTok who said that her favorite thing to be is to be skinny. Her name is SlimKim. You can go look her up. The fitness world, the internet is ablaze because she said her favorite thing to do is to be skinny. Now, her video was problematic, not because her favorite thing to be is to be skinny, but because she said, it's all I think about. I'm like, girl, please don't make that your personality. But what people are up in arms about is the fact that she likes to be skinny, and now they're calling her white adjacent, and she wants to be, she wants an aesthetic that is close to white people, and blah, 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 blah. Okay? I cannot believe that we are still having this conversation in 2024, nearly 2025. I made a video 3 years ago called Black Women Are Expected to Be Overweight. You can insert whatever culture you are from here. This is something that I found to be true with a lot of my clients who are from different ethnicities, right? There is an expectation that you will be overweight, you will be a little bit bigger, you will have more fat on your body. Is there anything wrong with that inherently? No. The problem is that when you go to the United States and you eat the food that you were eating in your home country, it's not that you're just overweight, you are now unhealthy. On my Instagram, I just did a video about the difference between being overweight and unhealthy. You can be overweight and healthy, and you can be overweight and unhealthy. The likelihood of you being obese, though, like having a high body fat percentage and being healthy, is very small. So that's the first thing we need to get out of the way. It is okay to want to be in a smaller body. I don't know why we hate that so much. It is okay. In fact, for a lot of people, losing body fat will inherently support their health. For the majority of Americans, losing body fat will help their health, will support their health. So this idea that like this woman hates fat people because she enjoys being skinny is kind of silly to me. Listen, I don't have a desire to be skinny, okay? I have a desire to keep my body fat percentage under 20. That's where I feel the most athletic. That's where I can run, jump, play. I feel like I can run a mile in 7 minutes if I need to. Like, I like feeling athletic. For some people, that number is 25%. Now, you can be skinny and fat, or you can be fit and not skinny, right? So the problem is not that she enjoys being skinny. The problem is that we are triggered, society is triggered when someone says that they enjoy being in a smaller body. That's okay. And I think the truth of the matter is that I'm going to speak for Black culture. A lot of the things that we do that we call Black culture are purely antitheses of what we think is white culture. So because we think thinness is white, then we go, well, we're Black, so we're supposed to be overweight. Like, to our own detriment, which is absolutely insane. I would never, for the sake of not being white, want to compromise my health. So the point is that there's a happy medium, right? Do you need to be skinny? No, but a lot of y'all need to lose weight. A lot of y'all need to get healthier. A lot of y'all are like, I love my body. Da, da, da. Your body is beautiful, and it's also slowly dying because you have too much body fat for what your body is ready to do, what your body can handle. So I understand the triggering. But the truth is that if you're triggered by her saying she likes to be skinny, then it has more to do with you than it does to do with her. Because I am not skinny, but I am not offended by Kim's comments. She prefers to be skinny. I'm like, good for you, girl. That's not necessarily a look that I want, because I don't think skinny is necessarily like feminine. But I definitely am not, for the sake of not being white and not proximity to whiteness, I'm certainly not going to walk around, 30, 40 pounds overweight. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to walk around with a circumference that is a waist circumference that is correlated to metabolic syndrome and pancreatitis and type 2 diabetes. I'm not going to do that for the sake of not being called, striving to be in proximity to whiteness. And I've had clients from different backgrounds, different ethnicities say to me, you know, yeah, it's the same in our culture, where if we strive to even be like fit, not even skinny, just like fit, it's like, what are you doing? You're not Lebanese, you're not Mexican, you're not Puerto Rican, you're not, you know, Iranian, like what are you doing? That's not us. Whatever. Those are like, I'm just giving like random you know, countries and cultures. That's not an insult to anyone. But I've had clients say that to me. And this idea that being overweight is a cultural thing is twofold. Number one, being overweight in other countries, you guys, I hate to say this, is very different than being overweight in the United States. Because typically, if you're overweight in, like, let's say an African country or in Italy, you are not eating the foods in the same foods that you are in the United States, which are highly processed, highly, you know, they're high sugar, high palatable, you know, gluten, you know, swiped and swabbed with gluten, pesticides. It's usually a different kind of food. So even though the person may be living in a bigger body, metabolically, their body is actually healthy. We are not the same. We are not the same. The United States is not the same. I can't tell you how many people have gone to Italy, gone to a different continent, and said, wow, oh my gosh, I ate so much food there and I didn't gain a single pound. Yeah, babe, number one, you were walking, but number two, the food is completely different. They raise, their agriculture regulations in other countries far exceed those of the United States. So there are many things you can do in the United States that you would never get away with in a different country. So we cannot compare being overweight in the United States with being overweight in another country, because the body internally, the system is handling food very differently, which matters. The other thing is that no matter how you slice it, as I said before, it doesn't matter. Most bodies are not designed to be significantly overweight. So here's the thing. There's a difference between being like overweight and obese. And a lot of people in the United States are teetering on obesity. And obesity has very specific clinical measurements, right? And I'm not talking about BMI, because as you guys know, I am overweight according to the BMI. Go look at my Instagram and tell me, if I didn't tell you that, would you know that I was overweight? I am overweight according to the BMI. My body fat percentage sits around 18%. No doctor has ever said anything to me about my health, except when I was killing myself trying to compete, and they were like, you better stop doing that. No one's ever said anything like that to me, because my body, even though it's heavier, is actually healthy. So the question is my body internally healthy? Well, a lot of times it's not, because you guys are you're bigger, and your body is not able to handle the weight. Your body is working too hard. Your heart is working too hard. So there's that. Now, I want to talk about SlimKim and how when we say things like, oh, you're trying to be white because you're trying to be thin, what the messaging that we're sending to ourselves and to little girls is, being a woman, being a black woman, always entails being unhealthy. Always entails. You know that video that I made you guys, being black women are expected to be overweight? Do you know how many women commented underneath that video and said, I lost weight, got bullied by family members, and then I gained the weight back and now I'm miserable because I know that I'm not healthy, but I just couldn't stand being bullied? Is there a problem with being like, skinny is all I think about? Absolutely. But is there something inherently wrong with being thin? No. In the same way that there's nothing inherently wrong with being fat, but it is unhealthy. And again, you can be both thin and unhealthy, and overweight and unhealthy. Both of those things can be true. The problem is that we hate thinness. We hate it. We hate Fitness. As a country, we hate fitness. As a country, we hate the smaller bodies. We tell them that they are privileged. You're privileged because you have a smaller body. You are now in the same class as whiteness because you have a smaller body. That is absolutely insane. That is absolutely insane. To equate your body size with one of the other oppressive the other oppressive nomenclature. Oh, racism, fat phobia, body positive. No, they're not the same. They are not the same. And so that's a dangerous game for people to play, and to, we try and intellectualize it and theorize it and go, oh, SlimKim must not want to be black, and there was like all this weird stuff, and it's terrifying. This is why most of Black Americans, and especially Black American men too, most Black Americans are overweight, because culturally we have associated being smaller with being white. In the same way we have associated eating vegetables and smoothies with being white. We have associated eating healthy food with being white. And because we are so terrified of being not black, we then literally kill ourselves for the sake of not being white. Child, I will be white all day. The same thing I say when people used to say to me, oh, you talk like a white girl. Okay, I will take my white sounding voice and my white picket fence and my 7 retirement accounts and my white sounding voice and my 6 figures in my bank account, and I'll go live my life. I don't care. I don't care, and neither should you. You should not care that someone associates you with being white because you are doing something that is good for yourself. Do you need to go out and be anorexic? Absolutely not. Should you strive to be in a body that is healthy? Absolutely. Does that sometimes mean that people will call you white if you are black? Yes. Should you care? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You would not catch me dead trying to prove my blackness by speaking a certain way, dressing a certain way, eating a certain way, having certain hobbies, listening to, you could not dare. It was so funny. When I first started teaching, one of the parents said to me, she goes, I really like doing things, she's black. She goes, I really like doing things that people think black people don't do. And that always stuck with me. And I was like, that is very interesting. Because you're limiting yourself when you put yourself in a box that says, because I am black, I cannot do this, to my own detriment. To my own detriment. Horrible. Horrible. There's this thing, so on the West Coast, there's this thing about black people not swimming. I know in other states, because people live near swamps and they live near lakes and things like that, it's not necessarily cultural. But in the United States, in the California, it's black people don't swim. They don't do that, right? So, to your own detriment, you are going to not learn how to swim because black people don't swim. We don't get in the water. Or I don't get on boats because, we don't get in open water. So you're going to deny yourself a positive experience. By the way, sailing is a wonderful experience. Yachts are amazing. Going deep sea fishing is top tier. Top tier entertainment. Beautiful. Amazing. You should do it. But I would never deny myself the opportunity to be my best self for the sake of being black. Being black. Right? Now, do I think SlimKim has some issues? Probably. But the bigger conversation is, why are we so torn up about it? Why do we care? Why do we poke fun at women who are in smaller bodies and tell them that they are privileged? Why do we do that? Is it because we are jealous? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Is it because we don't want them to think that they are better than us? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Is it because we see it as an attack on us and what we are not? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But I would encourage you, if you are triggered by someone saying that they enjoy being thin, and you're triggered by that, I would ask you, what would it take for you to not be triggered? Because that's the goal. SlimKim is some random girl on the internet. She is a woman, random woman on the internet, on algorithmic interwebs, and she found herself a way to go viral by doing exactly what some white woman did, which some white woman is on TikTok doing the same thing. She's like, I love being skinny. I don't mind. I don't care. Girl, you go, girl. If that's what you like, go for it. The question is, why do I not have enough confidence to not care? Why is my confidence so low that I am triggered by this? Why is my security and my blackness questioned when I see someone like SlimKim? That's the question. And again, I will say this for the 5 millionth time. It's not about being skinny. It's about being healthy, really. And a lot of us, if we're being honest with ourselves, don't really want to be healthy. We want to look the way that we want to look because it is so wrapped up in our identity, is so wrapped up in our ability to have a booty and boobs and all that. And we're willing to compromise our health to have it. We're willing to compromise our health to have it. And the question is why? Why? What is it about our identity that we have hamstrung ourselves to being overweight, and now to divorce that standard that we've set, it means that we are no longer of the cultural group that we identify with? That's the question. So I know people are upset about SlimKim. I know people are, these people are getting on the intellectuals on YouTube and TikTok are saying, oh my gosh, she is a beacon of self-hatred and anti-blackness. And why is being thin anti-black? Why? Why is being thin anti-black? Is it because we don't have an identity? I'm about to get into another whole section. We don't have an identity. We don't have a culture, so to speak. So our culture is defined in relation to another culture. So without whiteness, then I do not exist because everything that I do is anti-white. Right? If being thin is whiteness, and I don't have a culture, then I have to go, and my cultural identity is wrapped up in the antithesis of whatever is white, then I have to do that. That is a problem. That's part of the problem with not, with your culture being identified in relation to another. Your culture being defined by its relationship to another. It's kind of like the Hebrew Israelites, where your entire identity is about whether or not, is like you, white people coming out of Israel, coming out of the white people. That means your entire identity is dependent on white people. Your entire religion. And I fear that is to our detriment. It is the same reason, as I said before, that kids in school are told that they are white if they speak with elocution and diction. Because in our culture, culturally, anything that's not anything that's black must be the opposite of whiteness. And since white people apparently have a monopoly on intelligence and health and fitness, we have dug our own grave and said, well, then since they have to monopolize that, we don't want to be that. We don't want to be that. So now we're unhealthy. We lack intellectual prowess, and to our own detriment. So those are my thoughts on SlimKim. Somebody asked me to do a video on it. I'm doing it. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys. I'll make another video about how to stay fit through the holidays. Remember, it's never about being skinny. It's always about being healthy. And the question is, am I healthy? And I do not like this. You guys, I gotta move my phone. But anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.